Yeah, I'm used to microphones but before we go ahead, another key questionnaire or question. What do you use for your daily DevOps tasks? And I ask people who use mainly scripts raise their left hand, yes. And people who use some other tools like Chef, Puppet, whatever, Ansible, right hand up, please. And now everybody, both hands up. Thank you. Good. I would say a little less those new tools, more scripts. It's quite normal. It's good. It's understandable because of our history. Anyway, yeah, I'm used to microphones. My name is Sven. I'm married, lead singer of Estonian heavy metal band Herald. I created my first website in 1995, I guess, in Tallinn Technical University somewhere. Since then, I've worked in several companies. For 7 years, I worked with Ericsson as a systems integrator, line manager, programmer, whatever. And since 2012, I'm an entrepreneur, co-founded MageFlow, and another secret new startup I can't talk about yet. You will hear about it soon. So I have some experience with development, especially with web development and tools and then processes, methods around it. So yeah, let's see. Here's the agenda. First results, it was, let's say, 60-50, 50-60. DevOps Movement, then about scripts versus managed solutions available. Then I'll give you an overview of selected tools that we use at MageFlow. And then we try to do a live demo, how to bring content from development box to production. Because coders, they don't usually talk about content, but content is a very integral part of web development. Yeah. So this is the DevOps movement. We all come from waterfall, I guess. There's Agile and Lean. They are quite similar. I think they should be in opposite order because Lean methods, principles are like a foundation of Agile, whatever. I think most companies, this is my personal feeling, most companies nowadays are somewhere between continuous integration, try to get to continuous delivery, more or less. I don't know, maybe it's wrong. You know what continuous integration means? Your code is always integrated, always tested, ready to deploy it, and continuous delivery is that a development team delivers 24/7, basically. And then continuous deployment. Maybe you have heard, but I've read some numbers. It was, I guess, Amazon. In Amazon, or was it Google? I don't remember. But in Amazon, they update their production system code in every 11 seconds or something like that. Production systems update. This is continuous deployment. And actually, I think Amazon is in continuous operations, more or less. Sometimes they break, rarely. And Google and big tech companies, they are almost there. Small guys like us, we have a long way to go. We don't have much resources to deal with it. In Estonia, I know one guy in this room who's specialized in moving towards this. Vilko there, I got to know from web development company Vaimo. But I don't know how's the situation in other companies. In our company, I can say we are a so small team, 5 people. It's like DevOps is something you have to do if you want to survive. Because otherwise you do all the manual job, manual tasks, deployment, testing, whatever. Then you just die under this burden. So for us, this is kind of must. But in big companies, it's there are special people there who have been assigned to do that. To my understanding, the ultimate goal of development operations is to attain continuous operations without human interaction in the end. Because saying of mine, some people have cited me, is what can be automated must be automated. I hate manual job. Of course, development operations, it's not fully automatable always, and humans are needed. Even if everything is automated, then you need to control machines. But still, the target should be to automate as much as you can, because then you can focus more on creative tasks, writing code, on solving business problems that machines cannot solve. Development operations, it's not something that you will reach one day and sit down there. Yeah, now I'm doing development operations 100%. It's an endless process. There is always room for improvement. I don't know how many of you are from web development area, from, let's say, new technologies like Node.js and Angular, whatever. But I mean, in that world, things change daily. So this is always endless process, endless learning. Continuous operations and DevOps, it gains in efficiency. You get gains in efficiency and control in your company. If you're a business owner, then you're interested in this. I've give you links in the last slide, so I can share the slides later. But if you want to be successful in the development operations on the road or on the way to get to continuous operations from waterfall where you're now, or from agile or continuous integration, then use measurable milestones and simple milestones, because otherwise it's very, very hard to understand where you are in which phase you are. And I think the hardest part, it's always with humans, it requires changes in mindset, because you need to realize that you need to do something differently than you've done until now. And for developers tend to be conservative people. They are used to their tools, their environments, their setups. They sit there to coding. Yeah, it works, don't touch it. But it's not sustainable, because the world around you changes. And if you want to be successful, you need to change with the world, or at least accommodate the changes. So this is the general philosophy behind it. Scripts versus managed solutions. Yeah, everybody knows what scripts are. I'm not going to explain it, but just a quick overview. Perl, Bash, whatever is used. Mainly pros are it's very simple, always done so. Everybody can write it and works almost everywhere. The cons are it's too low level. It's often not generic. You need to write different scripts for different platforms, and so on. On the other hand, there are managed solutions like Chef, Puppet, Ansible. The pros are Chef and Puppet, they are offered as services. They're manageable, they're generic. You need to only write it once and you can run it on every platform more or less. The cons are they are quite complex to set up and time consuming, and they are over designed for small jobs. I'm kind of masochist myself in there, because just for the sake of learning, I'm trying to set up one server with Ansible. But it's really fun. I mean, once you get the idea, then you start to love it, and then if you learn it, then it's very easy to use. Chef and Puppet, they use domain-specific language. It makes it harder. I mean, based on Ruby or whatever. I haven't used Chef and Puppet myself too much. I'm using Ansible. So these are the main cons to my understanding. What else? Yes, and Ansible uses YAML for its playbooks language. So this is like more standard. Doesn't have such a learning curve. If you're a business owner, not many developers are business owners, some are, I am. Then I'm interested if the solution is good for my business too, not only for my developers or for my operations. So Ansible, for example, it's available for as a free and open source software. And there is also service, Ansible Tower, which is a paid service, and it's scalable. And the last 2 points, they are most important to my understanding when you draw the line between scripts that someone wrote someday, put somewhere. He left company, some other guy came. Where are the scripts? What do they mean? I need to write everything from the start. I didn't understand anything. You've seen that, right? So the support and documentation, I think these are our quite important points when it comes to custom scripts versus solutions that are available. Yep. Here is just a quick comparison of Chef and Puppet-like tools and Ansible. I'm not selling anything at Ansible, just that I'm used to and I'm using. So Chef and Puppet, they use agent on the machine. If you want to set up a machine, you first need to install agent there. Then you can run Chef and Puppet jobs there. They use domain-specific language, as I said. This language has its learning curve, as every language, English, Estonian, whatever you learn. And they are mostly premium, although they have free tier. So they cost you something. Ansible, on the other hand, it uses, it's open source. You can download, you can use it everywhere. There is also paid service, Ansible Tower. And it's agentless, that's what I like. And it uses SSH or some other transport to run commands on the server. So yeah, choice is yours. I don't know here, Marco, what are you using? And yeah, in Estonia, we have quite small companies, I mean, compared to Silicon Valley companies and there. So we don't have that much of hardware and stuff, but still we have some hosting companies who have got quite a lot of hardware. I think it's very useful for them to use tools like this to control their infrastructure. At MageFlow, what we use, our stack consists of cloud hosting. We don't use local hosting providers. We use Candy, which is French. They have data centers in the US and Belgium, I guess, and in France. And we use Amazon Web Services. Then we use for daily operations, we use Atlassian stack, Jira, Bamboo for continuous integration, Bitbucket, Git hosting, Reusable for code review, and Confluence as a wiki for development information. Then we use Git for version control, Vagrant for virtual machines, and Ansible for provisioning those virtual machines. And also we use Vagrant for provisioning our production servers, although this is work in progress, not finished yet. Later in my demo, I show you how Vagrant machine is provisioned from zero with Ansible. So it shows you a Magento, working Magento site. This is my personal observation as a CTO or team leader. Also from my previous job in Ericsson, where I was line manager. I was also responsible for adopting development tools there. We implemented Jira installation in Ericsson Estonia. And my observations are that, I mean, good tools, they improve motivation in your company. Vice versa, I mean, as you know, bad tools, they cause you a lot of frustration. I mean, nothing makes me more angry than tools that I'm using if they don't work. For me personally, at least, it's fun to use and learn those because the new tools, they're really, really good, and it's good to see a lot of innovation ongoing. And the other part of this is sharing. I mean, for example, your Ansible playbooks or chef recipes, whatever you write, you share them at GitHub, everywhere. Everybody can use them, and that's the fame you get, basically for free. And I think those tools are inevitable enablers for agile process, because I mean agile means to automate as much as you can. Otherwise you use a lot of cheap Hindus that are not so cheap, if you understand what they've written in the end. So yeah, you better automate it, and you better use those tools for development operations. Back to this slide. I mean, it's everything is integrated. That's yeah, it's left out from this. But when I mean use tools, then you need to put them together. I mean, for example, if you install Atlassian Stack, Jira and Bamboo, then you can with click from Jira you can release your software, and you know you can version it, and then you can create branches, and you can release special versions and so on. You can back them and so on. So it only makes sense if you integrate them together, and then it seems to be so that the tools from one company work better together. That's why we have chosen Atlassian. Web application development. Now we get to more this from development operations to development. I mean content, whatever. Sorry. Developers often think that most important thing in the world is their code, what they write, and they're right. I mean, it is very important. But end users, they don't care about your code. I mean, they care if it doesn't work, if they see some error page, but it's shitty code. But if it's working, then the content is also very important. I mean, web application, it's not just code, it's content also. And my observation is that the code in general in development companies, it's handled well. And I mean, everybody's using version control, right, and so on, and testing. We have, I mean, like in the last 10 years, we have made big steps towards right direction in that sense. But the content is often overlooked, because my background is from e-commerce. I used to do Magento developments before I started with MageFlow. And content development, content creation, it's in Estonian põlve otsas. No versioning, manual migration, monkey job, copy paste, do this, do that every day. So it's very tedious, and it wastes resources, human resources, and money and time. And also people tend to mix code with content. Concrete example from Magento world. That's how MageFlow came to birth. Is that in Magento there is no official way to move content from your staging to production, or from the development to testing. So there is a way to write scripts to put them to your version control and deploy them together with your code to production or whatever next stage. To my understanding, it's not a good way. First, it requires too many technical knowledge. I mean, those people who create content, they are not technical people. Second, it's mixing code with content. You don't want to keep all your images and content articles, whatever pages in your Git repository. Who would do that? So it's a bit wrong, and that. Then we came to idea about MageFlow, that it should be done in a different way, without mixing it with code. I'll show you how MageFlow works in a few minutes. And the point is that from now on, MageFlow is also development operations tool, because you're using it in your content development. Yeah, MageFlow is offered software as a service. It's available at app.mageflow.com or just mageflow.com. Go there. It has a free tier. If you're interested, you can log in, just try it out. You don't need to know anything about Magento. You can just see how it works. You can create the free Magento instance with 1 click there, or 2 clicks. What it does content migration between development, testing, staging, and production phases in your project, or between your team members. If you have a larger team, you can share content between your team members. Does content versioning. It's a scalable solution from the start. Technically and also commercially. I mean, we have different plans, and we're going to support Magento Enterprise version. And it has an open API. And the core component, which is a Magento extension that does the hard job there, is open source.
I have a silly question. What is Magento?
Sorry?
What is Magento?
What is Magento? Nobody knows what is Magento. Okay, Magento is the world's largest open source e-commerce platform. Approximately 1/3 of all world's e-commerce shops, online shops, run on Magento. It's created by Roy Rubin. It was developed in Ukraine initially. It's also core development team is sitting in Ukraine. And eBay bought it in 2011, I guess, 2012, something like that. eBay bought it. Now it's part of eBay. So this is Magento. Sorry. I assumed some wrong assumption. Yeah. So yeah, that's okay. Magento is the world's largest e-commerce platform. I would say tens of thousands of people working with it every day. So we saw an opportunity. Yeah, and I think now it's demo time. If you're interested, I don't know. The point of demo is we create one Magento instance that is our production site, and then we create one development box inside here in Vagrant. We provision this Vagrant from the start with Ansible, and then we connect those instances to MageFlow service, and then we migrate content from development to production. It takes like 10-15 minutes. So first, I start creating this Vagrant box. I have I just create a brand new Vagrant here. DEVCLUB. I copy here a prepared Vagrant file. I don't know if you have used Vagrant. Do you know what Vagrant is?
No.
Who knows what Vagrant is? Almost everybody. Vagrant is another wrapper around VirtualBox. It's basically VirtualBox here. Not too much. I mean, it has some provisioning part and then some setup scripts, and then does some hard work for you that you need to do manually with VirtualBox. So Vagrant has a Vagrant file which describes the virtual machine. Then I have my provisioning scripts. I have in Git. I just clone them here. Done. And now I just run Vagrant up, which starts creating brand new virtual machine. Fingers crossed. In the same time, we leave it here. It takes around 5 minutes. You can do it faster if you prepare your Vagrant box and you save it with database inside and so on. So, I mean, you can do it much faster. I need to enter my password once here because it. Yep. The setup is that I have my project cloned on my disk. Then I start Vagrant, and from here, from this machine, I share the folder with NFS, and Vagrant mounts this folder. So inside Vagrant, there is Nginx, PHP, MySQL, everything is working there. I don't need to set up anything in my machine. So far, 15 years, I've always done so. Everybody does so, right? You set up development environment in your machine. Correct? Good. Now you can do it differently. So, yeah, from here, start virtual machine. Now Ansible took over. Ansible runs all necessary scripts, install all components. I can assure this is pure empty Linux machine. I mean, Ubuntu, whatever. And now it installs everything inside that. Oh shit! Sorry, I forgot. That's what I forgot. I had to. I created a special branch. For demo for my provisioning scripts. So git checkout demo. Yes, let's start over. Vagrant destroy. This destroys the machine. Yes. Now we run Vagrant up again. Okay. Yeah, Ubuntu, Trusty 64. It's the base box for Vagrant. Just plain Ubuntu machine, vanilla Ubuntu machine. Here it shares some ports, so I can access the machine later on. Sets up my SSH keys. I can log into that machine if I want, and so on. The point of Ansible, to me, I got clear yesterday when I created another server purely with Ansible. I created new instance at Amazon Web Services, and maybe I logged in there with SSH once, but I set up whole web server, database, everything only with Ansible. So you don't need to go into machines anymore. I mean, log in with SSH everywhere. You do everything from your machine. Okay, but let's leave it here. It sets up everything. In the same time, we go to MageFlow. Here we create our production machine, so-called production. It's not real production. In MageFlow, we have projects. I have created DEVCLUB demo. Its project is just a container for your Magento instances. Because this is a very low resolution projector, you can also see our really nice responsible web design. Really nice. Instances. Here we have a feature called demo instance, because so that everybody who joins MageFlow, you can create the Magento instance with few clicks. So here, and it's created in Amazon. New machine is provisioned at Amazon Web Services, and the Magento is set up there. I'll show you. Let's add some labels. Production. So you can distinguish your instances later on. Start setup here. This goes a bit faster than setting up brand new machine here, because in MageFlow we have a pre-provisioned Amazon image that we use, Amazon machine image. Yeah. Now machine is deploying. Soon it will be in status deployed. Takes like 1 or 2 minutes usually. In the same time, you see Ansible is installing PHP MyAdmin, MySQL, all PHP components that are needed to run Magento. And yes?
Meanwhile, I've got the question about why would you even want to like version your content between different environments, or in what context do you use this like functionality?
Do you mean the use case for MageFlow?
For anyone.
For anyone. Okay. Because usually how web applications are developed, or at least Magento in e-commerce, is that you have a production site and you don't do changes directly to your production site. You want to prepare them in your development, or in, let's say you have development, staging or testing, and production. You have at least three. You have different Magentos. You prepare something in your development environment, then you want to show it to customer. The development environment is in your machine. You don't want to run to your customer and show it on your screen. You want to put it to public site, or let's say some site protected with password, to show it to your customer, so they can confirm, yeah, it can go to production. So how do you do it? Nowadays you do it either with copy-paste, or with some tricky scripts which are hard to write, and you need to put it to
I don't know, usually have like separate environments, and production content or data that is there, it even like isn't fully shared with developers. It isn't their care to, like, you have this data and you have real data. Sometimes you have issues, but like in 3 years maybe you have one issue with, like, you have a lot of data and your tests don't cover some scenario where you have like a lot of data, but usually developers don't even see like data that is in production.
Yeah, you don't need to see it. You don't need it. But we are not talking about transactional data. I mean orders and customers. You don't see it. You don't need it. You don't migrate it with MageFlow. Okay. With MageFlow, we only migrate content which is called master content, which is like let's say static pages, CMS pages, some products, product attributes, category changes. You get product category. These kind of changes. Okay. I'll show you. Yeah. Okay. Now the Vagrant box should be up and running. Let's see. And yeah, the production environment is also up and running. So let's connect first the production environment. In order to do that, I go to that Magento. I open front end first. You see it's a Magento site. Yep. Just empty, without any content. Then I log into admin of that Magento. And here, another good lesson. Magento is not, obviously, is not optimized for 800 times 600. Let's see, maybe we can connect it. Yeah. So whoever installs a Magento, I mean, this is a demo Magento. We have prepared it, and here the MageFlow extension is installed. But if you have your own empty Magento or existing Magento customer site, whatever, then you can just download our extension and install it to your Magento. And then you have this button here, connect. You connect to your service to MageFlow. I mean, it uses OAuth. You have used Google login or GitHub login in your whatever other sites. So I think you get the idea how OAuth works. Yeah, we connect to MageFlow. Inside MageFlow, you can have multiple companies because your customer may want to set up a different company to enter their credit card data and so on. Because pilling can be, you can pill it to your customer, or your customer can enter their own credit cards there. That's why we have different companies, and you can create projects. Then you connect that instance to demo project. Yes, seems like it worked. Okay, and now in MageFlow, soon we'll see it gets to online status. It means this Magento is now connected to MageFlow. Now let's go to this Vagrant box, this development, which is, let's play it here. It's not connected to internet, or It is connected to internet, but it's not accessible from the internet because it's in the inside networks. This is located here, Magento Dev. Yes, that's the Vagrant box, and let's log into admin. How it's that fast? Can't be. It was really slow if I tried it earlier. Okay. Not so fast anymore. Magento is notorious. I mean, for being slow. Out of box, it's really slow. It needs a lot of optimization. And in our development environments, all cache is turned off. We don't use cache in development environments. That's why it's very slow. Because it's development and really empty Magento. Because usually if you install a Magento, you have this install screen where you install it and you enter your admin passwords and base URLs and stuff. We skipped it, so this is completely empty Magento. So I need to configure it's just 2 base URLs in order to start working with it. This one and this one. Then I can start connecting it to MageFlow and creating some content. Okay, save is here. Good. Save config. Yep. Okay, and now we do the same thing here in MageFlow. You can see here is only one instance now. This is our production. Now we can connect this instance in my machine, which we call development. MageFlow, connect. Yes. So the previous to production instance, because I created a demo instance, I initiated the creation of demo instance from MageFlow. Then it recognized the instance immediately. It knew that it was in MageFlow component zone. But if it's a brand new, completely new Magento, you need to select the company and project where you want to connect it. And now we go to back there. Yes, and now it should be connected. Okay, this is now connected development instance. And here I start creating content. For example, I can create new products, or in our demo case, I just create the new front page for the Magento. We go and check existing production site front page. Just remember the picture, and then you'll see the difference. In the same time, in the MageFlow, we see there is another instance now. We have them labeled here, development. Just to recognize them. It's unreachable, which means that because MageFlow is a public service, it cannot reach my machine from the internet. That's why it's unreachable instance. That's what most development instances are. They are unreachable for MageFlow. But that's not a problem. We have a solution for that. Anyway, now we go to development instance, and we create the new CMS page, just to show you how to migrate one thing from totally separate Magento to other. Add new page. Hello, DevClub. Write some content. And save. Now what happens is that this MageFlow extension that is installed to this Magento, it catches this event of saving something inside Magento, understands it's a CMS page, and it creates something which we call change item. Basically, it's a version of your CMS page. It creates one version. Here in this grid, you see CMS page, hello DevClub is created. And now we push to MageFlow. DevClub front page. Okay. And now it pushes it to MageFlow. We see in a second. Here it's sent. In MageFlow, on the project. Yep. 15 seconds ago, DevClub front page is sent to MageFlow. Okay, but we need to make another change. We will set the new page that we just created. We will set as a front page of the Magento. So we do a system configuration change. Which is here, default page, CMS, yeah, we set hello DevClub, we set it as our Magento front page. Again, system configuration is saved, and this change is observed, or this event is observed, and stored as change item. Yeah, now we go again to push grid. And we see here, system configuration, CMS homepage, DevClub. We send it to MageFlow. System config change. Okay. Now it's time to send some content to production instance. I'll send it. I'll send the page, and let's see. This is now the admin of production instance. Let's see under pages if it appears there. Yes, hello DevClub, it's here. And let's see the front page. Nope, because we haven't sent the system configuration change yet. So let's send this one. Migration. Okay, changes have been migrated. Let's see if we hit some demo effect or hello DevClub. This is how content gets to production. It worked. I'm really happy. It didn't work when I tried it before. It happens. Anyway, that's a very, very simple use case. In e-commerce development, often you also want to work vice versa. Developers need some content from production in order to have some realistic development environment. I mean, you don't need all products, you don't need customers, whatever, but you need some. It works vice versa because you can, in the same way, you can save your content in production, you can push it to MageFlow. But in this case, MageFlow cannot push content, it cannot transfer the content to your development machine because it cannot access it from the internet. As you see here, we only have listed those productions that can be accessed from internet. So that's why we have something called pull grid, push grid and pull grid. And in the pull grid, you see the changes that have been pushed to MageFlow. It downloads the list of changes from MageFlow. I don't know if it works now. I haven't tried it. Oh, yeah, they're there. So basically, whatever is pushed to MageFlow, a developer can pull it to his machine. It also works this way. In case of Magento, it works with products, catalog categories, attributes, attribute sets, CMS pages, static blocks, admin users, admin roles, basically with all most important entity types that are in Magento. Except we don't touch transactional data. I mean, we don't touch orders and sales data and the customers and so on, because it's very, we have learned it hard way. I mean, for example, in Germany, it's not allowed to do it in any way. You don't need, yeah.
So, yeah, so far looks good until the moment when, as you see, there is an order of changes. And if you need some exact thing, sometimes you don't know which was the base step of that. So you can, for example, get this system config change, but you don't have this page. For example, you just do the latest one.
Yeah.
And if you don't have page DEVCLUB,
yeah, it gets broken. I mean, sure, because we can't resolve all dependencies, because it's too complex. We cannot resolve it. Something has to be left to humans. Someone has to decide. Of course, our API call it fails with some message. It tells you that it cannot do that. In some cases, it does the change and it ends up broken in Magento.
But is there a rollback feature available?
Good question, because you can always. Right now we have a rollback feature, but we will disable it. It's too risky. The rollback is even riskier than doing something wrong in the first place, because as you understand, I mean, it's not like Git where you have everything under control. It can't be done like so, because there is a relational database. There are other things that can change the system. There are other people that can change it in the same time. It's not locked in that sense. And you can create a total mess. That's why, actually, that's a good question. That's why a few days ago we created a link here. Please read the ground rules before migration. At first, ground rule is always be sure you have recent backup. That's the best advice I can give. I mean, stupid people with powerful tools, it's the most dangerous combination, right? So, and tools cannot be made less powerful, so people have to become smarter. And of course, I mean, if you are working with high performance or a high traffic production site that cannot be afforded to be down for 1 minute, then please be sure you have backup. Anyway, I mean, there are a few things that you need to keep in mind, because there are dependencies inside Magento between different entity types. Some are more important, some are less, and they need to transfer those first that are like bases. For example, Magento stores configurations. Everything is mapped to them, and if those are migrated first, then everything should be okay. Now back to our presentation, and yes, we migrated content from development to production. Profit. Now you can fire that guy who made the copy-paste job. That's a joke, I mean.
But you should hire the guy who will push changes.
Sorry?
You should hire the guy who will push changes.
Yeah. Sure, but I mean, now we get back to your original question: scripts versus tools, and it's very important difference. I mean, in order to use MageFlow, you don't need to have almost no technical knowledge. I mean, your secretary can do it, whatever. But to write some scripts,
Vagrant?
yeah, to write some scripts or do such stuff, then or migrate content via Magento setup scripts or any other method, using any other method, then you cannot delegate this job to people without technical knowledge. And it's I mean, for developers, it's waste. They don't want to deal with content in that sense. You can delegate it. You can just write your content. So the original question: can scripts save the world? The answer is no. You need duct tape too. I made it up. Of course, everything can be solved with a script or two. I had a very good example explained to before the presentation to one participant that recently MageFlow was looking for investors from Germany. We met some investment bank guys there, and yeah, we had a chat with them. Then we came home, or my business partner, he came home, and they hired, or they asked some advice for some experienced developer who looked at our solution to MageFlow. I don't know, it's pretty good, it works, but I can do it with a few scripts. So that's the main point. I mean, but what happens if this guy leaves, if he forgets to document those scripts and so on? So yeah, it's not feasible solution. It's not sustainable solution.
But do you offer 24/7 support for customers if something goes wrong with MageFlow?
We don't have 24/7 support now because we have only 5 persons, but we have 8 to 5 support and dedicated person working with that. Yes, and on our website there is here intercom. You can contact us anytime. If it works, it's over via my mobile. Maybe it's too slow, or maybe it's turned off. Anyway, you can contact us anytime, and usually every question gets an answer. Yeah, here. Yeah, do you have any other questions?
Sorry.
Yes.
How many clients do you have at the moment?
Paying customers, very few. Because we launched our billing system last week. Actually, the paying customer joined us. He wanted to join us even before we launched our billing system, so he made a PayPal payment. Very few paying customers, but test customers and free customers. We have free tier. You can use 2 instances for free. So if you're a freelancer, you can work with MageFlow for free. I don't know, a few hundreds, maybe a couple of hundreds. Because we launched publicly, we launched Willkommen was New York event in September. I was there. I don't remember. New York, not Imagine. In the autumn, September, beginning of October, we launched publicly. So yeah.
If some security flaw is found in this Magento software, not MageFlow, but in Magento, is it possible to update all the instances, all the customer instances of Magento using your tool? I mean, automatically the customer will wake up like a week afterwards and...
You mean to transfer content?
No, not the content actually, just the application itself.
Application itself?
Yeah, application itself.
You can't update the application with MageFlow.
Okay, it's just the content, right? Which you can update using MageFlow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But this comes back to the beginning of presentation with Ansible. Sure. Okay. Do it with Ansible. But Magento is a bit tricky, and I mean, yeah, it's a bit tricky. There are the guys who are. I'm not a full-time Magento developer anymore. I used to be a few years ago. There are guys that know it much better now. Yes. Will
Shopify kill Magento?
I don't know. I don't think so, because. Shopify, it's good service, but there are always companies that cannot rely on such services that need it in the house, that need custom development. So and Magento is extremely scalable if done right. It's very scalable. I mean, it works fine. It's too heavy for most Estonian merchants and small markets. It's in the mid range. Spotify is a bit below, I guess. It's good too, but there are different requirements from businesses.
There are some questions.
Yeah.
Have you had already a request to like put the?
I have bad hearing. That's why I come closer.
No,
yeah.
It's not a problem. Do you have a request to like make a product behind firewall installations for your on-premises?
We have thought a lot about it, and yes, we have. I mentioned Germany, and some German customers. They have said that yeah, we would like to be your customers, but we can't use a service. So we are thinking about standalone. Our product product is built so that it can be deployed standalone with some effort. We built it as a SaaS, but it's modular and it can be done standalone too. Yes, you were first.
On the ground rules of migration page, I noticed the third item said that you should do atomic updates, which means that you should apply the change sets one by one. So my question is that why doesn't your product support atomic updates of multiple change sets?
The atomic is my wording there, which is a bit stretched. It means if you want to be absolutely safe, sure, you can migrate in bulk.
But if you do that, then is it actually atomic?
Yeah, it is. Yes, only one change at a time. And if you select, if you select there, yeah, if you select many changes, everything is sent atomically.
Okay.
Yeah, and we are building a feature where you can group the changes together. You can like save them as like bookmarks or favorites. So if you have a new developer coming in and you have some set of configuration changes, then you can apply to this developer machine. Yes?
But you have started with some this nice monkeys turning into robots and telling us about automation. This is quite much.
This is automation. This is content.
Oh, this is automation from migration point of view, but everything which is actually done is done manually. And from my point of view, continuous delivery is automated continuous delivery process. With, I don't know, zero downtime, and everything goes automatically. Everything is pushed automatically.
You mean content too?
Yes.
Yes. We have a feature under development which is called scheduled transfers. So, because in e-commerce world, people want to prepare content. Let's say a new landing page to be on the website on Monday. Some big sale starts. So we have a feature called scheduled transfers. You can prepare your stuff, set it to be deployed on Monday, 9 a.m. and forget it. It's not there yet, but yeah, under development. Any other questions? Anything else? Yeah, thank you. Watch here the Manita video. Thanks. Oh, good. A good cup is always good. Coffee.
Okay.
Yes.
So, and,